Now, I think it's pretty safe to say that the future of the Star Wars franchise is ever evolving, given that Jon and Dave are going to be exploring all aspects of Star Wars Legends and really, doing live-action adaptations of many of the books, the comics, and the novels from the 1990s, stretching all the way into the 2000s and the early 2010s. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. Now, given that, of course, George Lucas is working hand in hand now officially with Mando Season 4, with the Ahsoka series, and Season 2 of that show by Jon and Dave, and a lot more on the horizon as well, we also have Bob Iger, the Disney CEO who has been in a current shakeup with the Disney executives and the board. And basically a lot of changes coming our way, not just for Star Wars, but also for Marvel and even the Disney parks. So this big shift over at Disney comes at a phase of desperation and damage control, and they're really trying to level things out, trying to balance things out and keep things under wraps. That's what they're trying to do right now, and really trying to kind of just create something more authentic for the fan base for the franchise of Star Wars. Now, beyond all of this, what Bob Iger recently had to say about Gina Carano and the character of Cara Dune is quite reassuring and really may very well give a lot of fans hope about her character's future and even the actress Gina herself. Now, the thing about this that I think a lot of fans need to be fully aware of right now is that Bob Iger and many of the executives that do support Jon and Dave's vision are the majority right now over the other executives that are loyal to Kathleen Kennedy, per se. Now, that brings us to what, of course, Bob Iger had to say about everything, is that with Disney and Lucasfilm preparing for their new Star Wars projects, it's described that currently Disney CEO Bob Iger recently was able to talk to the fans about rehiring Gina Carano when he was questioned about all of it. Iger went on to state the following: "We are aware that this is a very controversial topic to even talk about, but I am questioning about her return and rehiring all the time, every week, for what I will say is that we are holding meetings about how we can do this properly for all fans alike, without appearing like we are taking sides. We have to find this type of balance, for Cara's return and for Gina to take up that role again. So it's this type of remedy that we are looking to accomplish that can make all fans happy equally. It was never our intention to have Miss Carano fired the way that she was by Kathy, but it was also our call to follow up with Kennedy's request to let her go from The Mandalorian, and perhaps we acted too quickly and blindly on that without going into this subject in greater depth. We never wanted to alienate our fans, and we have noticed that there's a large supporting group who looks up to Cara Dune, who looks up to Gina's portrayal of that character." Now let me stop right here about what Bob Iger's saying before I get to the next piece of what he says. So basically he is admitting that they may have acted and blindly acted way too quickly after Kathy fired Gina in the worst way possible, through social media, and how that got leaked out before they even gave her a phone call. The thing about Bob Iger is that, yes, even though I'm not a big fan of the guy, I have to give him some form of credit for at the very least, staying in touch with the fans and really allowing Jon and Dave to do whatever they want to do right now with Star Wars, giving them pretty much full control for the most part over at Lucasfilm. The thing about this, too, that I think fans need to realize is that Kathleen Kennedy is the very person that created the movie hiatus. Alright, you're not seeing Star Wars on the big screen in years because of Kathleen Kennedy. She's the one that made that call, and at the time, back in 2019, Bob Iger felt that that was the right call. And that's when they stopped making movies for a while. And that's exactly why Iger now wants to bring things back to the full screen, back to the big screen, I should say, because they can then rely on ticket sales, repeat ticket sales. It's just more profitable than streaming, because with streaming, you have to really rely on subscriber loss and subscriber gains, or subscribers staying very balanced. And that's really like an up and down roller coaster for Disney right now on Disney+. So, on to the next big thing here about what he has to elaborate further. Has a lot to do with himself, the executives, the conversations that are going around and about for Cara Dune's return, and Gina's portrayal of that character. He's also admitting that they realize that there's a large audience for Cara Dune that look up to the character, so that's a very interesting thing. The next thing he goes on to say is this: it's our goal to have as many supporters as we can without dividing a fan base, and that's what we are trying to do with John and Dave's efforts with their upcoming shows. Now let me just say one thing here, guys. Even if you bring Cara Dune back, you're gonna upset the fans, or the people, I should say, that do not like Gina Carano's Cara Dune. You know, the fans that dislike that character are gonna shy away from Star Wars most likely if they do bring her back. Other fans are gonna come to Star Wars more if they do bring her back. So it really is gonna create a divide no matter what you do, and no matter what Bob Iger says here, you cannot prevent that. It's like trying to prevent the weather. You just can't stop a division based on everything that you do. So he goes on to elaborate further. So though I cannot go into every detail involving our conversations surrounding Gina's return, it is something that we are actively discussing on how we can do this the right way for the fans and for newcomers alike that can be introduced to this character again. We are also aware that Gina's departure was unfair to her and to our audience, and we are finding the necessary steps to take in order to make things up to the fans who felt we dealt with this matter wrongfully. I agree with many others here at Disney that they are very much persistent with these goals in mind to our audience to improve retention. So again, they want to improve retention for Disney Star Wars. This is Disney's goal. They want to create more consistency when it comes to audience engagement, because they're realizing right now there's a lot of fans that are going on Disney Plus, watching a show, canceling their subscription until another show comes on. Disney does not like that. They want more consistent subscribers that are going to stay in tune with more quality-driven content that they can look forward to. And so that's the big challenge for Bob Iger, right? So there's a lot of things that he had to say here about Gina and Cara, and really coming clean on everything related to Gina's return and exactly the conversations that are cycling around Disney's executives and the board. So, obviously, we already know that Bob Iger is in a bit of a heated exchange between the executives. I mean, the shakeup is still going on to this day. It's been going on since January, believe it or not. And it's only going to continue to get worse. So you're going to see a lot of change with Marvel, Star Wars, and Disney parks. They are only looking to improve them now because they are beginning to realize that there is a decline in these many different avenues. So anyways, guys, I'm very intrigued what you all have to say about Bob Iger opening up and really just speaking out about Gina and Cara and the audience that had all these different, visions of what happened by Kathleen Kennedy. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon we hear